Hello everyone. In the every particle video we did in the series had just one phase. We click the canvas, the explosion happens and it is done. But this one has two phases. The first is the rocket launches from the bottom and it rises, and it also has a target. When it reaches that target, it explodes into 140 particles, each one inheriting the color palette of the rocket that carried them. That's two separate arrays, two separate classes, and two separate update loops running in sync inside one animation frame. This is called the firework simulation, and this is the most complete canvas we've built so far in this series. And yeah, this is also an experimental one. So let's build this firework show. Welcome to Scratch Start. Today we are going to build a firework simulation using Java's canvas. So this is the main Java's HTML structure without any JavaScript part. This is just pure HTML and CSS output. And what are the functionalities we are going to add in the JavaScript is the sparkling, the fireworks simulation here in the canvas, and the button functionalities here, and then the active of rockets, particles, fireworks, and the status. These should be updated continuously. So these are the things we have to add in the JavaScript coding part. So let's go to the JavaScript part now. I have created the variables, the canvas and everything using identifiers, and I don't want to explain any of this. And canvas size is the same as the previous projects. I don't need to explain this too. And here the global variables is the same. The only thing we added is the total fireworks, the auto launch timer, that is between each intervals. What is the interval between each fireworks firing, and the rockets array, particles array, to combine when the spark, the fireworks animation will proceed only by combining these two arrays. And this is the color palettes I have created. These are the colors that are going to be used in the fireworks thing. And then the rocket, this is the main thing. So here I am going to create the rocket animation, the simulation effect. We have to create the rocket. So for that I have created the class rocket. As it is a continuous animation loop, we can't create the rocket every single time. So I am using the class rocket to create the rocket only once, and it will be used again and again in the loop. So I am using constructor with the target x as a parameter. Target x means the x coordinate, the coordinates along the direction of x, because we are clicking on the canvas and it will take only the x axis according to the place coordinate in the x coordinate. The y coordinate will get decided, and so for the x coordinate I am using target x as value, and for the y coordinate I am using canvas's height as a input. And we have the target y, that is the ceiling that will be calculated, how far or the how high the fireworks rocket will go. So this must be calculated using random method. So math random is multiplied with canvas's height. Canvas's height multiplied by 0.45. Next we have the velocity in x direction, sorry, the y direction. For that I am calculating a negative value, because after going to the top it will come down. So -6 minus math random multiplied by 2, and then the velocity in x direction I am using the same math random method, and it is subtracted with 0.5, and then multiply with 0.5. Now we have the radius of the color palette. After going to the ceiling, calculator ceiling, the rockets bursts, explode, and the exploding radius is should be calculated. I am giving the constant value as 3, so it won't change in frequently. And the color palette, that is the color of the rocket and the explosions happening. So I am calculating it using the palettes array variable I created using math floor and math random method. I am calculating it. So next is particle creation, that is the same way the rocket is created, the particle is also created. So I don't have to explain this too. I have explained this in previous videos. So next, to create the firework, we have to create the rockets and push it to the rocket class. From the rocket class, the new rocket creator should be pushed into the rockets array here. See, in this array the new rockets creator will be pushed here, pushed into this array. So that is also a new thing, not a new thing. We have done this in the previous video too. So now we have to create the explosion. So for that, to create an explosion, I have created the create explosion function, and using x coordinate, y coordinate, and palette as the variables, the parameters. And inside that I am creating a variable called amount as 140, and I am using for loop, fixing initial value at 0, and I should be, condition should be I should be less than amount, and then it should increment by 1. And then we have to create a new particle inside the particles array. So particles dot push inside that new particle is pushed, and it has the parameters x, y, and the palette Now the firework should happen, and the total fireworks value also should go from increment to 1 by 1. So total fireworks increment 1. So now we should add the button functionality. So in the here, see, there is a launch button here, that is the play button. The launch firework button. Play button is different. The launch firework button. So to make that function happen, I have created the function using click add event listener, and the function parameter is the event. In the event of clicking the canvas, the function should happen. So I am creating a variable called rect, and I am calculating it using getBounding client thing method, getBounding client rect, and then I am calculating the x value, that is x coordinate, using event dot client x minus rect left, and then we have to create the rocket now. Create rocket with considering the x coordinate, and then we have to change the status dot text content equal to launch, and then we have to create the button launch too. So for that, this function is to create the launching when clicked in the canvas, and this function I have mistakenly told that this function is the button function, but this is the button function actually. This function is to launch the rocket when the button is clicked. At this button, this function is to, when we click in the canvas, the rocket launch should happen. For that functionality, we return this function. Now this function is the button functionality. So for that, I'm creating new variable called count x value, that is the x coordinate. It is calculated using the math random method multiplied with the canvas's width. And then we can create the rocket. Create rocket with a consideration of x coordinate, and then we can change the status, text content, launching. So now next section is we have to update the rockets. See the browser, active rockets, particles or thing. So we have to update those two. So for that we have to update the rockets. I am using for loop to update that. For let initial value equal to length of the rockets array -1. I should be greater than or equal to 0, and I should decrement by 1. That is, each rocket should die out. Only after that we can do the rocket calculation. For that, I am creating a new value called rocket, and I am calculating it using the current index of the rockets array. And then I am going to calculate the rocket x coordinate and the rocket y coordinate. Rocket x is calculated by rocket's direction velocity in x direction. Rocket dot velocity x, and then rocket y coordinate is rocket's direction velocity in y direction. Velocity in y direction. Then we have to update. If rocket's y coordinate is less than or equal to target seeding, that is target y. If that is the case, we have to create the explosion. Create explosion using parameters rocket x value, rocket's x coordinate, rocket's y coordinate, and the rocket's color palette too. Rocket's color palette, and then we can update the rocket too. That is rocket dot splice I,1. So it will be updated. In the same way, the particles also will be updated. This is the same thing I have explained in the previous video too. So this is the same thing. And then we have to draw the rockets and draw the particles. So to draw the rockets, I am already written the function. So for each of the rockets, for each I am writing a function with the rocket as a parameter. Rocket is a parameter, and this rocket should be drawn. So I am using the canvas ctx begin path and then it is an arc, so ctx arc, the arc should be calculated with the rocket's x coordinate, rocket's y coordinate, the rocket's radius, starting angle is 0 and the ending angle is 2 pi r, math dot pi star 2. Then we have to give the colors ctx fill style. I am giving the background color of the canvas as some white color. And then I am giving the shadow color of the ctx as the same color. Shadow color is also the same color. And then I am giving the shadow blur now. ctx shadow blur as intensity 20, and then we can fill all these values. ctx fill. Now the rockets are drawn, and now the particles. For the particles, the same method. For each of the particles, we have to write the function. For each, the function with the particle as a parameter. We have to save the previous values. ctx save, and then we should have the global alpha. ctx global alpha equal to the particles alpha, particle dot alpha, and then we can begin the path. ctx begin path. Now we have to draw the particles, so ctx arc, the values are particle. In this we have wrote the rocket's x coordinate, y coordinate, the previous thing. Here we have to write the particle's x coordinate, y coordinate. 0, sorry, the particle radius too, forgot that. Particles radius 0 and 2 pi r, math dot pi multiplied with 2, and then we have to fill the color. Fill style equal to the particles color, and then we should have the shadow color. As particles color, and then we have the shadow blur too. Shadow blur is intensities I am giving 18. Then we can fill all the values, that is all the styling options inside the canvas for particle, and then we have to restore all the values, then restore, and then we add the clear frame, and then there is a auto launch time too. So to calculate that, I am giving auto launch timer value should be incremented by 1 initially, and then I am using if condition. If auto launch timer value is greater than or equal to 90, then we have to set the auto launch timer value as 0, and then we have to create the rocket. Create rocket, calculate using math random, multiply with canvases width, and then I have written the update UI function, the animation loop. This is the animation sequence. Clear frame, the launch should happen automatically. We have to update the rockets, update the particles, and then draw the rockets and then draw the particles. And the request animation frame, using request animation frame, I can activate all the animations. And these are the button functionalities for the play button, pause button, clear, and everything. And to initialize all these functions and operations, I have written the initial functions. I have called the update UI and the animate functions, so the initial animation will start easily. Now let's go to the browser and let's see the output. Browser, I refresh, so it is happening. See, the canvas's color is changed to what color we given, and the sparks are happening automatically. When we click pause, the explosions are paused, and we clear, and everything gets clear, and only when we launch the fireworks now it will activate, and the status is at ready. So when we click launch firework button, the status will change to firing, and the explosions will happen. Firing, launching, and now it is fire. It will just fire. It is launching. Now we have to click the play button, so it is running. See, the active rockets is actively updating, and the particles are also actively updating, and the total fireworks that have happened, so that is also updating continuously. And another functionality we added is, when you click inside the screen, the spark should happen. I am clicking here. See, the rocket is coming. See, that is the firework simulation thing. You can use this for give greetings to in the websites. Like in India, there is a Diwali and other important functions. So you can use these animations to present a greeting, website greetings too. This can be used for that purposes. So yeah, that is it for today, and I will meet you guys in the next session with another animation. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment what you think about the video and what you want me to do next, and anything you like, anything whatever you think. And I will meet you guys in the next session. Thank you. Have a nice day.